Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andi Putri Ahira. In this video, I will be explaining about Islamic Development Bank.
My name is Denzel and I am going to explain about the World Bank.
Hello, my name is Liani from International Management class. I'm going to explain about the Asian Development Bank.
Hello, my name is Nugraha. I'm from International Management Batch 2022.
The World Bank, officially known as the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development or IBRD, is an international financial institution established in 1944. It was created during the Bretton Woods Conference held in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, United States. The primary goal of the World Bank is to promote global economic development and reduce poverty in member countries. It achieves this by providing financial and technical assistance to developing nations for development projects, infrastructure improvements, and policy reforms. The World Bank's financial resources are obtained from its own funds, foreign governments, and private capital. These funds are then disbursed into member countries in need, with the associated risk borne by the respective countries. To become a member of the World Bank, a country must first be a member of the IMF and meet other requirements. The World Bank Group has 5 institutions under its control. Each of them performs specific functions. All these groups collectively form this international organization. Namely, the first one is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development or IBRD. Created in 1944, aims at overseeing the reconstruction and development of devastated countries. It provides financial aid through loans to nations destroyed during the Second World War. The second one is International Development Association or IDA. It exists in the 1960s and aims at providing funds to underdeveloped or poor countries with high debt issues. Here, the loan comes with no or zero interest charges. The third one is International Finance Corporation or IFC. Founded in 1956, it intends to provide capital to private companies in developing nations. It can be either equity or bonds. The fourth one is Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency or MIGA. Established in 1988, MIGA aims to provide insurance against rising political risks in developing nations. The fifth one is International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, or ICSID. It came into existence in 1966. This body provides a platform to solve disputes within the member nations. The World Bank's activities go beyond financial assistance. It also provides policy advice, technical expertise, and capacity building support to its member countries. The World Bank has a membership of 189 countries, with each member having representation in the bank's governing bodies, including the Board of Governors and the Board of Executive Directors.
The Asian Development Bank was established in 1996 and committed to achieving a prosperous, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable Asia and the Pacific, while sustaining its effort to eradicate extreme poverty. The aims of establishing the Asian Development Bank was based on economic cooperation and development due to the difficulty of obtaining assistance from developed countries. The objective of ADB. There are two main objectives of Asian Development Bank, which is the first objective is to increase the economic growth of countries in the Asian continent and promote closer cooperation in various fields with its members. And the second objective is to providing assistance to its member. This assistance can be in the form of financial assistance or technical assistance like advisory services for projects preparation and development on a regular basis or as needed. Sources of fund. ADB get several sources of fund, and the first sources is the ordinary capital resources or OCR. It is a paid-in capital of member countries, retained earning, and fund raised through loans from international market. And the second sources of fund is ADF or known as Asian Development Fund. This is a fund from countries' member voluntary donation and the net income of ADB operation. The activities of Asian Development Bank. Asian Development Bank has several activities, which is the first is to providing loans for various projects in both local and foreign currency. And the second activity is to provide technical assistance such as provision of consulting service. And here ADB engage individual consultants and consulting entities such as firm, university, NGO, etc. for a wide range of assignments such as for studies, detailed design, contract preparation, and project supervision, and also for appraisal. And the second is provision of expert service. And here, the expert is provided in wide range of study area that will help DMC or development member countries with their project. Loan policies. The Asian Development Bank determine the eligibility of development member countries or DMC to borrow based on true criteria, which is national income and credit worthiness. Then DMC will be divided into several groups such as Group A, which is those who in need of greatest concessionality and eligible for ADF grant, and Group B or is those that need some concessionality, and Group C, which is those in need on lease concessionality. Mostly OCR loans are offered to middle-income countries such as Indonesia. Meanwhile, the ADF loan is a loan scheme with very low interest along with grants to help reduce poverty in poor ADB member countries.
International Monetary Fund. The organizational structure of the IMF consists of members where the leader is held by the Board of Governors, a governor and a substitute appointed by each member. Some of the tasks and powers are delegated to the executive director. The powers and duties that are still held by the Board of Governors are as follows. First one is admission of new IMF members. Second one is review of each member's quota. The last one is the right to withdraw one's membership. And next is IMF objectives. First is to exchange stability, to maintain exchange rate stability and thus to prevent exchange rate fluctuation. Second one is enforce the devaluation criteria of up to 10% or more with further information or by seeking respective permission from the IMF. Second is eliminate BOP disequilibrium. The IMF helps its members to eliminate long-term imbalances in their balance of payment, as well as the IMF helps member countries in eliminating or minimizing short-term balance of payments balances either by selling or lending foreign currency to members. Third one is stabilize the economy. The IMF has the important function of advising member countries on various economic and monetary issues and thereby helping to stabilize their economies. Fourth is reduce rates. The IMF also aims to reduce tariffs and other restrictions and imposed on international trade by member countries so as to replace restriction or remittance or to avoid discriminatory practices. Fifth is credit facilities. The IMF maintains various credit lending facilities to assist member countries in correcting their balance of payment imbalance. These credit facilities include basic credit facilities, loan facilities, and for a period of 3 years. Sixth is maintain balance between demand and currency forces. The fund can declare the currency as a widely enjoyed stable currency and can increase its army by borrowing it from the country concerned or by purchasing the currency altogether in exchange for gold. The seventh is reduce rates. The IMF also aimed to reduce tariffs and other restrictions imposed on international trade by member countries so as to stop restriction on remittances or to avoid discriminatory practices. And the last one is International Monetary Fund. Its sources come from contribution and from its members known as quotas. This source can be in the form of gold and currency that is still a member. The amount of quota is calculated based on US dollar currency.
Islamic Development Bank is a multilateral development bank, or MDB, that is engaged in mobilizing and utilizing resources for the economic and social progress of its member countries, as well as Muslim communities in non-member countries, in order to apply Sharia principle, which is an Islamic jurisprudence. The vision of Islamic Development Bank are to equip people to drive their own economic and social progress so that they can fulfill their potential. And as for the mission of Islamic Development Bank, are to build collaborative partnerships between communities and nations, as well as foster innovative and sustainable solutions to the world's greatest development challenges. The initial idea of establishing an international Islamic bank is to enforce financial system of Islamic countries around the world. The amount of initial capital placed for Islamic Development Bank operational in 1975 is amounted for Islamic dinar 2 billion, or equivalent to 2 billion special drawing rights. Currently, IDB, or Islamic Development Bank, has a total of 57 countries of providing interest-free loans for infrastructure projects and financing to member states based on the participation of the country's capital. Not only IDB, or Islamic Development Bank, got initial capital for about 2 billion Islamic dinar, there are also 5 types of funding sources in Islamic Development Bank. The first one is ordinary capital resources, which a funding that comes from commitment of member states who are willing to provide funds for IDB operational capital. The second one is Islamic Bank Portfolio, or IBP, which is a syndicated fund between IDB as Mudarib, or an institutions that trusted to manage other parties' fund with business partners. There are 20 Islamic financial institutions in IDB member countries that acted as Sohibul Mal, which is the parties who entrust their money to be managed by Mudarib. In this case, the Mudarib is the IDB and the Sohibul Mal is the 20 Islamic financial institutions in member countries. The third one is Export Financing Scheme, or EFS, which is a funding source aimed at increasing trade volume between IDB member countries. And the fourth one is Fund of the Islamic for Corporations of the Investment and the Insurance of Export Credit, or ICIEC, which is a source of funding for assurance of losses in investment and trade for its member countries. The last type of funding source in Islamic Development Bank is Wakaf Fund. This source of fund comes from interest on IDB funds, which in its activities are inevitable deposited in conventional bank. This source of fund used for victims for natural disasters or scholarship program assistance.